You see, most human beings are not tired because life is demanding. They are tired because they are unnecessary participants in their own suffering. You are expending enormous energy trying to manage outcomes that were never meant to be micromanaged by your mind. Effort is natural, but anxiety is artificial. Action is healthy, but compulsive overthinking is self-inflicted violence. The moment you confuse responsibility with fear, life becomes heavy, and the irony is this: the harder you try to hold everything together, the more fragile everything feels. Look closely at your own experience. When you are truly involved in something you love, time disappears. Effort happens, but strain does not. But when fear enters, even the smallest task feels like carrying a mountain on your back. That is because fear fragments your attention. Half of you is in the past, regretting. Half of you is in the future, worrying. None of you is actually present. Life can only cooperate with you when you are present. Otherwise, you are trying to drive a vehicle while sitting in the back seat shouting instructions. Right now, many people are calling their tension hard work. But hard work does not exhaust you. Resistance does. If you walk uphill willingly, it strengthens you. If someone drags you uphill, it drains you. The difference is not the hill, it is your inner posture. When you move with trust, life responds differently. When you move with panic, everything feels hostile. Ask yourself honestly, how many things have you worried about that never happened? How many sleepless nights produced absolutely nothing except more fatigue? If worry had the power you think it has, you would already be living a perfect life. The body is a profound intelligence. When you are at ease, digestion improves, breathing deepens, clarity sharpens. When you are anxious, even simple systems begin to malfunction. So when you are constantly tense, you are not being productive, you are being destructive. You cannot build a joyful life with a clenched jaw and tight shoulders. That posture is not strength, it is fear pretending to be discipline. People say, if I relax, everything will fall apart. But observe carefully. When you panic, do things actually improve, or do you make poorer decisions, speak harshly, rush into actions that later need repair? Relaxation does not make you careless, it makes you conscious. Only a relaxed mind can see clearly. Only a calm heart can choose wisely. Tension narrows your vision. Relaxation expands your intelligence. There is a deep misunderstanding that striving is spiritual and rest is laziness. That belief has damaged generations of people. Life is not impressed by your stress. Existence does not reward anxiety. A flower does not bloom because it is tense. It blooms because it is in tune. When you are aligned, things that feel impossible begin to happen with surprising ease. Ease is not a lack of effort, it is a lack of inner friction. If you really look at life, the most important things are happening without your effort. The sun rises without your permission. Your heart beats without your supervision. Your lungs breathe even when you forget about them. If these fundamental processes required your constant control, you would not survive a single day. So why do you assume that everything else depends solely on your stress? Is it not time to trust life at least as much as you trust your fear? Let me ask you something. Are you listening to this with your body relaxed, or are you tense even now? Just notice. No judgment. Awareness itself is the beginning of relaxation. When you become aware of tension, it loses half its grip. When you breathe consciously, the mind begins to soften. When the mind softens, life becomes less of a struggle and more of a participation. You are not here to conquer life. You are here to experience it fully. Trying too hard is a sign that you think life is against you. Relaxing is a sign that you understand life is happening for you. When you stop fighting the flow, you don't become passive, you become available, and only what is available can receive what is already on its way. Rest feels uncomfortable not because something is wrong with rest, but because something has been wrong with the way you have been living. When the body has known only tension, relaxation feels unfamiliar. When the mind has survived on alertness, silence feels dangerous. You have trained yourself to stay ready for impact, so when nothing is attacking you, you feel uneasy. This uneasiness is not intuition, it is habit. And habit, when repeated long enough, begins to feel like identity. Many people mistake restlessness for awareness. They believe that if they stop scanning for problems, something terrible will happen. But look at the cost of that belief. You are always bracing, always anticipating, always preparing for a blow that may never come. This constant inner tightening becomes your normal state. Then, when life offers you a moment of peace, you don't know how to sit with it. You sabotage it. You create unnecessary drama. You reopen old wounds, not because you enjoy suffering, but because suffering has become familiar territory. The mind does not fear pain as much as it fears the unknown. For some, peace is the unknown. Chaos, stress, and struggle have been long-term companions. So when things begin to settle, the mind becomes suspicious. It asks, what am I missing? Why is it so quiet? What's about to go wrong? This is not wisdom speaking. This is conditioning speaking. And conditioning can be unlearned, but only if you are willing to stay present long enough to see it. Think about this for a moment. When was the last time you allowed yourself to do nothing without guilt? Not scrolling, not planning, not worrying. Just being. Even as you hear this, notice what arises inside you. Resistance, discomfort, impatience. That reaction tells you everything. The discomfort is not because rest is wrong. It is because your nervous system has forgotten how to feel safe without pressure. Some of you learned very early that rest was not an option. Maybe you grew up in uncertainty. Maybe you had to mature too fast. Maybe peace was interrupted so often that you stopped trusting it altogether. So now, even when life slows down, your body doesn't believe it. You are physically present, but internally you are still running. Rest requires trust, and trust cannot grow in a system that has been trained only to survive. But survival is not the purpose of your life. Survival is the beginning, not the destination. If you remain in survival mode long after the danger has passed, you will never truly live. You will call busyness purpose and exhaustion achievement. You will confuse tension with importance, and slowly, without realizing it, you will lose the sweetness of being alive. Rest does not mean you stop caring. It means you stop panicking. It does not mean you abandon responsibility. It means you drop unnecessary burden. When you are rested, your perception becomes sharper, not duller. You respond instead of react. You listen instead of assume. You act when action is needed, not when fear demands it. Notice how nature rests. Night does not apologize for coming. Winter does not rush to become summer. Every cycle includes pause, stillness, recovery. Only human beings believe they must be constantly proving their worth through motion. But worth is not something you earn by exhaustion. Worth is inherent. The moment you forget this, rest begins to feel like laziness instead of intelligence. If you are listening right now, ask yourself gently, what am I afraid will happen if I truly relax? Stay with that question. Don't answer it quickly. Let it reveal itself. Awareness is not about fixing. It is about seeing. When you see clearly, change happens naturally. Rest will feel strange at first. That is okay. You don't need to force peace. You just need to stop resisting it. Sit with the discomfort without labeling it. Breathe through it. Let your system relearn safety. Over time, what felt unfamiliar will begin to feel like home. Many people live with a quiet fear that life might somehow forget them, that if they don't keep pushing, reminding, forcing, proving, they will be overlooked. This fear creates a constant urgency, a feeling that you must chase everything, opportunities, relationships, success, even peace. But look deeply. Has chasing ever brought ease into your life, or has it only increased exhaustion? What is truly meant for you does not require panic to find you. Life is not careless. Existence does not misplace what belongs to you. There is a fundamental intelligence operating far beyond your personal effort. When something is aligned with who you are, it gravitates toward you naturally. You don't have to advertise the sun for plants to grow. They turn toward it on their own. In the same way, when you are rooted in clarity, what belongs to your life moves toward you without force. The struggle begins when you believe that everything valuable must be hunted down, wrestled, and secured through tension. Ask yourself honestly, how many things have you run after only to feel empty once you caught them? And how many things arrived unexpectedly without effort, yet changed your life completely? This alone should tell you something important. Life's most meaningful moments rarely announce themselves in advance. They come quietly when you are receptive, not when you are desperate. Desperation distorts perception. When you are desperate, you see scarcity everywhere. You begin to believe that opportunities are limited, time is running out, and others are ahead of you. But this is a psychological illusion. Life is not a race where someone else wins and you lose. Life unfolds uniquely for each being. The moment you compare your timing with someone else's, you step out of your own rhythm. And when you are out of rhythm, even the right things feel wrong. What is designed for you moves according to your readiness, not your impatience. Readiness is not about speed, it is about alignment. A fruit cannot be forced to ripen faster without destroying its sweetness. In the same way, if something arrives before you are prepared, it becomes a burden instead of a blessing. So when things are delayed, it is not always denial. Often it is protection. Many people fear slowing down because they think they will miss their chance, but chances don't disappear because you rested. If something can be stolen from you by a pause, it was never stable enough to sustain you anyway. What is truly yours is not fragile. It doesn't depend on constant anxiety to survive. It arrives when the conditions within you are right to hold it with grace. Let me ask you something. Are you chasing life, or are you allowing life to meet you? Pause for a moment and feel the difference between these two states. Chasing comes with tension in the chest, shallow breathing, restless thoughts. Allowing comes with openness, patience, a quiet confidence, which state feels more intelligent to live from. When you slow down, you don't fall behind, you come back into alignment. When you stop forcing, you stop interfering. Interference is the most subtle form of mistrust. It says, life doesn't know what it's doing, so I must take over. But if life truly didn't know what it was doing, none of us would be here. The very fact that you exist is proof that something is working extraordinarily well. Notice how often you assume that if you are not actively pushing, nothing is happening. But some of the most important processes occur invisibly. Roots grow in darkness, seeds break open underground. Just because you can't see movement doesn't mean life is idle. Stillness on the surface often hides intense activity beneath. Engage with this thought right now. What if the things you are worried about are already moving toward resolution? What if the doors you fear are closed are simply not ready to open yet? Can you sit with that possibility without rushing to control it? When you stop chasing, something remarkable happens. Clarity replaces confusion. You begin to recognize what truly resonates with you and what you were pursuing out of fear. You realize that some things you wanted were never meant to stay, and some things you thought you lost were never yours to begin with. This understanding brings relief, not loss. Life responds best to availability, not urgency. Be available, emotionally, mentally, and physically. Available does not mean passive, it means open, and when you are open, what is meant for you does not have to be hunted down. It finds its way to you naturally, because alignment is more powerful than effort. Most people believe control is strength, but control is often just fear that has learned good manners. You want to know every step, predict every outcome, and secure every possibility because uncertainty makes you uncomfortable. But life is not a straight line. It is a living process. The moment you try to dominate the process, you shrink its intelligence. You may feel busy, but you are not necessarily moving in the right direction. Think about how much energy you waste trying to manage things that are not actually in your hands. You plan conversations before they happen. You replay moments after they are over. You imagine outcomes that may never arrive. All of this happens in the mind, not in reality. Reality is always simpler than the stories you create about it. When you try to control the process, you are not engaging with life as it is. You are fighting life as you imagine it might be. Control gives a false sense of security. It makes you feel responsible, disciplined, and prepared, but observe closely. Has control truly brought peace into your life, or has it tightened your chest, shortened your breath, and robbed you of joy? True stability does not come from controlling everything. It comes from knowing how to respond when you cannot. Flexibility is intelligence. Rigidity is fear. Life works best when there is trust. Trust does not mean blind hope. It means understanding that there is a larger order at work. Just as a farmer prepares the soil but does not pull the crop out of the ground, you too must know where your role ends. Preparation is your responsibility. Growth is not. When you interfere with growth, you delay it. When you trust the process, you accelerate it. Many people are frustrated not because nothing is happening, but because things are not happening their way. They want the result without respecting the rhythm. They want the fruit without allowing the season. But every meaningful transformation requires time, pressure, and patience. If you rush it, you may still get something, but it will lack depth. It will not sustain you. Let me ask you, how many times have you forced something to work, only to later realize it cost you peace, health, or relationships? And how many times did you resist letting go, only to feel relief once you finally did? This is not coincidence. Life is constantly guiding you, but guidance is subtle. It becomes clear only when you stop shouting instructions at it. When you release control, you don't lose direction, you gain clarity. Suddenly, you can see what actions are truly necessary and which ones were driven by fear. You stop overcorrecting. You stop reacting to every fluctuation. You begin to move with life instead of against it. And moving with life requires far less effort than swimming upstream. There is a deep arrogance hidden inside the need to control everything. It assumes that your limited perspective is superior to the vast intelligence that has sustained existence for millions of years. The sun does not need your supervision to rise. The seasons do not need your approval to change, and your life does not need your anxiety to unfold meaningfully. Control tightens you, trust relaxes you. And when you are relaxed, your perception sharpens. You notice opportunities you were too tense to see before. You hear guidance you were too noisy to recognize. You respond rather than react. This is not passivity. This is mastery. Only someone who is inwardly steady can allow uncertainty without collapsing. Engage with this right now. What are you trying to control that is draining you? Is it timing, other people's behavior, outcomes, recognition? Just notice. You don't have to fix it immediately. Awareness itself loosens the grip. The moment you see how control operates within you, it begins to dissolve. Life does not need you to manage every detail. It needs you to be present, attentive, and willing. When you release the need to dominate the process, you create space for things to unfold in ways you could never have planned, and often what arrives is far better than what you were trying to force. Many people think peace means giving up, stepping back, or losing intensity. They believe that if they are calm, they will become careless, slow, or irrelevant. But peace is not weakness. Peace is precision. When there is chaos inside you, even the right action becomes wrong. When there is peace inside you, even a small action becomes powerful. Peace is not the absence of movement. It is the absence of inner conflict. Look at your own life and observe this honestly. When you are anxious, how do you speak? How do you listen? How do you decide? Anxiety rushes you into reactions. Peace allows you to respond. Reaction is unconscious. Response is intelligent. One comes from fear, the other from clarity. If you want your life to move in the right direction, clarity matters far more than speed. Many people surrender to anxiety thinking it keeps them alert. They say, if I don't worry, I'll miss something. But worry does not sharpen awareness, it clouds it. A disturbed mind sees threats where there are none and misses opportunities that are right in front of it. Peace, on the other hand, makes you sensitive. When you are peaceful, you notice subtle cues. You sense when to speak and when to remain silent. You know when to act and when to wait. That is not surrender, that is alignment. Peace is a signal. It tells you that in this moment you are in tune with life. And when peace disappears, it is also a signal, not to panic, but to pay attention. It is telling you that something is out of alignment. Most people ignore this signal. They push through discomfort, override their inner balance, and call it strength. Over time, this leads to exhaustion, confusion, and regret. Ask yourself this: how many decisions did you make while restless that you later had to fix? How many words spoken in agitation created damage that silence could have prevented? If you reflect carefully, you will see that peace was trying to guide you, but you were too busy proving something to listen. Peace does not mean you stop striving for growth. It means you stop fighting yourself in the process. Growth with inner conflict is painful. Growth with inner harmony is graceful. The direction may be the same, but the experience is completely different. One breaks you down, the other builds you up. There is a reason clarity often comes after you calm down. When the waters of a lake are disturbed, you cannot see the bottom. When the water settles, everything becomes visible. Your mind works the same way. When it is agitated, it distorts reality. When it is peaceful, it reflects life accurately. So, peace is not something extra you add to your life. It is the condition that allows you to see life as it is. Many people are afraid of peace because they associate it with loss of ambition. But ambition without peace is blind. It keeps you moving, but not necessarily in the right direction. Peace does not kill ambition, it refines it. It removes desperation and replaces it with purpose. It removes comparison and replaces it with clarity. Engage with this moment right now. As you listen, notice your breath. Is it shallow or deep? Is your body tense or relaxed? This is not a small thing. Your body is constantly informing you about your inner state. When peace is present, the body cooperates. When peace is absent, the body resists. If you learn to listen, you will save yourself years of unnecessary struggle. Peace also changes how you relate to uncertainty. Instead of fearing it, you become curious. Instead of resisting it, you explore it. You realize that uncertainty is not a threat, it is a space of possibility. Only a peaceful mind can enter the unknown without collapsing into fear. Life does not need you to be frantic to take you seriously. It responds to coherence, not chaos. When your thoughts, emotions, and actions are aligned, life flows with you. This alignment is what peace truly is. Not silence, not inactivity, but inner agreement. There is a strange habit human beings have developed, running endlessly toward things that are already moving toward them. You call it ambition, drive, hunger, but very often it is just mistrust of life. You believe that if you don't chase, nothing will happen. So you keep running, exhausting yourself, while what truly belongs to you is trying to catch up. And the tragedy is, when you are running too fast, you cannot even recognize it when it arrives. Observe this carefully. When you chase something desperately, your entire identity becomes tied to getting it. Your happiness is postponed, your peace is conditional, your worth is measured by arrival, not by presence. In that state, even if you achieve what you were chasing, you cannot enjoy it fully, because the chasing mind does not know how to rest. It immediately looks for the next thing to pursue. This is not growth, this is compulsion. Life does not respond to desperation the way you think it does. Desperation repels clarity. When you are desperate, you compromise your intelligence, you ignore signals, you accept what is not right for you simply because you are tired of waiting. Many people did not fail because they lacked opportunity. They failed because they grabbed the wrong one out of fear that nothing else would come. What is truly aligned with you does not need to be hunted down. It approaches you when you are available, not when you are frantic. Availability is a subtle but powerful state. It means you are open, attentive, and grounded in yourself. Urgency collapses that openness. It makes you narrow, tense, and reactive. Life works with openness, not with force. Think about moments in your life that felt deeply right. You didn't have to convince yourself. You didn't have to overthink. There was a natural sense of ease, even if effort was involved. That ease was not laziness, it was alignment. When something is aligned, it may challenge you, but it does not confuse you. Chasing, on the other hand, always comes with confusion. You keep asking, is this it? Should I do more? Am I late? These questions are signs that you are not listening, only running. Let me ask you something directly. How much of your effort right now is inspired, and how much is fueled by fear? Don't answer quickly. Sit with it. Fear. Driven effort feels heavy. Inspired effort feels alive. One drains you, the other energizes you. If what you are doing is constantly draining you, it may be time to stop and see whether you are chasing something that was never meant to carry your weight. Many people believe that ease means they didn't earn it. They equate struggle with value, but struggle is not proof of worth. Awareness is. Just because something comes naturally does not mean it is insignificant. It may simply mean you are finally in the right place, doing the right thing at the right time. Life flows where there is less resistance. When you stop chasing, something beautiful happens. You begin to see clearly what has been running after you all along: clarity, opportunities, connection, peace. These things cannot catch a restless mind. They need stillness to land. Like dust settling in a quiet room, when you stop moving so much inside, everything becomes visible. Notice how often you overlook what is already working in your life because you are focused on what is missing. This constant sense of lack creates the illusion that you must chase more. But when you pause and acknowledge what is present, abundance begins to reveal itself. Gratitude slows you down enough to receive. Engage with this moment right now. If you are listening, notice your breath. Notice whether you feel rushed even while sitting still. That inner rush is the chasing. And you don't need to fight it. You only need to see it. Awareness dissolves compulsion. The moment you see that you are running unnecessarily, you naturally slow down. Slowing down does not mean stopping your life. It means stopping the inner frenzy. When the frenzy stops, action becomes precise. You move when movement is needed. You wait when waiting is intelligent. You stop forcing doors and start noticing which ones are already open. Life is not asking you to run faster, it is asking you to become more conscious. What truly belongs to you will not require you to betray your peace to obtain it. It will meet you when you are steady enough to receive it with grace. So stop chasing for a moment, stand still within yourself, and allow what has been searching for you to finally find you.